The morning sun stretched its rays over the hallowed dueling grounds, where Kira Shadowmere steadied her hold on the venerable blade, a legacy handed down through 7 generations of her lineage. Across the circle of worn stones, her opponent stood with an exasperating calm, a young man just beyond his 20th year who asserted no family name, no heritage, and no claim to challenge the traditions of the Highland clans. Final opportunity to retract your challenge, outsider, Kira proclaimed, her voice resonating through the assembly of clan members. You are unaware of our traditions. The unfamiliar figure, who had provided merely the name Aldrich, moved his head in a slow, deliberate manner. His simple attire and ordinary looks identified him as one of the common folk. Yet there was an intensity in his unwavering gaze that caused even the most seasoned clan warriors to feel uneasy. Aldrich responded with a straightforward refusal. Your clan's intentions towards the villages below are in direct conflict with the ancient codes. I remain firm in my challenge. Whispers flowed among the assembly. For 3 days, the young man had contended against the clan's choice to seize the fertile lowland territories through force, referencing ancient agreements that many had long overlooked. When words fell short, he had called upon the ancient privilege of trial by combat, a privilege that none could contest, irrespective of lineage. Elder Thane Morvek advanced, his aged hands lifted to command quietude. The task has been embraced. Let the contest commence, and may the forebears direct the deserving sword. Kira initiated the attack, her sword gliding through the air in a flawless curve that could have taken down any typical adversary. Yet Aldrich moved aside effortlessly, his simple steel blade, unadorned, redirecting her attack with ease. They glided over the stones, metal clashing with metal. Kira's technique was impeccable, refined through countless hours of practice in the clan's hidden combat styles. Yet somehow Aldrich mirrored her every action as if he could foresee her intentions before she even made a move. As her irritation mounted, Kira intensified her assault with greater fervor. Her blade was etched with the revered symbols of her ancestry, markings that were said to bestow power upon those of genuine Highland heritage. She poured all her rage into a powerful downward blow that would conclude the duel with finality. Aldrich lifted his sword to defend himself, yet the strength of her strike pushed his guard aside. Kira's blade glided over his left palm, leaving a delicate trace of crimson blood. As soon as her blade met his crimson essence, the world shifted. The old symbols etched into her sword burst forth in radiant golden brilliance, shining like harnessed daylight. The revered symbols appeared to twist and change, uncovering concealed markings that had remained unseen for ages. The brightness became overwhelming, causing Kira to step back, her eyes stinging from the glare. Yet, it was the response of her clan that profoundly unsettled her. One by one, each member of Clan Shadowmere knelt down. Elder Morvek's visage turned pale as he lowered his forehead to the earth. The esteemed fighters who had guided her from a young age now bowed low before the wounded outsider. Unthinkable, Kira murmured, her blade quivering in her hold. The symbols etched on her blade glowed again, coalescing into phrases in the old script, phrases that sent a chill through her veins. Witness the rightful sovereign's arrival. Aldrich gazed at his bleeding palm, an expression of resignation crossing his features instead of surprise. He spoke softly, expressing his wish to steer clear of this situation. Kira was unable to complete the words. The final descendant of the Dragon Lord lineage, Elder Morvek articulated his thoughts. From his position on the ground, his voice resonated with a mix of wonder and dread. The lineage we believe to be lost for 3 centuries. Aldrich carefully wound a piece of cloth around his injured hand. My family has resided in the serene lowland villages for many generations. We sought to distance ourselves from the ancient conflicts, the bygone battles. However, upon discovering your clan's intentions to seize territories that do not belong to you, he merely shook his head. Certain duties must be upheld. The consequences descended upon Kira with the force of a landslide. By the oldest statutes, those that existed before the rise of the Highland clans, a verified heir of the Dragon Lords, wielded authority over all the mountainous realms. Her clan's assertion of authority, her family's influence, all that she had understood, was founded on the belief that the royal lineage had ceased to exist for all time. The edge discerns reality from deception, Morvek declared, finally standing upright. The runes awaken solely to the caress of noble lineage. We must recognize his dominance. Around the circle, other clan members started to stand, their expressions revealing a blend of astonishment, trepidation, and intrigue. Some of the younger warriors seemed poised to contest this revelation, yet the older ones, recalling the ancient tales, restrained them with pointed gestures. "What actions will you take regarding us?" Kira inquired, her sense of honor clashing with the harsh truth of her predicament. Aldrich pondered her inquiry with great thoughtfulness. "Nothing that your group does not select for itself. The ancient methods of governance through domination and intimidation have long been laid to rest by my forebears for valid reasons, yet safeguarding defenseless communities from those who would exploit their authority." He held her gaze unwaveringly. "The obligation persists, and should we choose not to recognize your assertion?" A melancholic smile graced Aldrich's face. "Then you demonstrate that certain lessons are best understood through difficult experiences. Yet I sincerely wish it doesn't reach that point." Kira gazed at her blade, observing as the golden runes gradually returned to their inactive form. All that she had held true about her existence, her clan's destined role within it, shifted in a heartbeat. The outsider, the sovereign, had not yet declared triumph in their clash, but he had achieved something far more significant. "The villages shall stay unscathed," she declared at last, sliding her sword back into its sheath. "We relinquish our assertion to the lowlands," Aldrich acknowledged with a solemn nod. "Much appreciated. In due course we may discover a more effective path ahead. United." As the throng started to thin, Kira seized Elder Morvek's arm. "What made you identify him so fast?" The elderly man's gaze was filled with layers of recollection she had never encountered previously. "For you see, dear one, I was present on the evening when his great-grandfather took his last breath. I witnessed those identical symbols ignite when they struck down the final recognized descendant. I never imagined I would witness their glow once more. In this lifetime," Kira observed Aldrich as he strolled away along the lowland paths, his unadorned attire and modest demeanor remaining constant despite the unveiling of his noble lineage. A genuine ruler, she understood, was not someone who sought a crown, but rather one who embraced the weight of responsibility when the call of duty arose. The clans of the Highlands would have to adopt fresh perspectives, and maybe with the reluctant leadership of a king who favored the simplicity of village life over the trappings of royalty, they could at last discover the tranquility that had long escaped them.